Okay, hello class. Today I'm going to be giving you your tests. These are your lits on your 100. Number one, you have proper names. J, tilt a whirl, Coca-Cola, Davy Crockett. Okay, so this is going to be your lit number one for 5 minutes. The appointment I was on my way to was very important. I was very late and very lost. With my male ego in check, I began to look for a place to ask directions, preferably a gas station. Since I had been crisscrossing the city, my gas gauge was very low and time was of the essence. I spotted the amber glow of light outside the local fire station. What better place to ask directions? I quickly stepped from my car and crossed the street to the station. All three overhead doors were open and I could see fire engines with their doors ajar, chrome shining, waiting in anticipation for the bell to ring. As I stepped inside, the aroma of the station assaulted me. It was the smell of the hoses drying in the tower, the oversized rubber boots, jackets, and helmets. These smells mixed in with the freshly washed floors and polished trucks created that mysterious scent associated with all fire stations. Slowing down, I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and was transported back to my youth, to the fire station where my father worked for 35 years as head of fire maintenance. I looked down to the end of the fire station, and there it stood, sparkling gold to the sky, the fire pole. One day, my dad let me and my older brother Jay slide down the pole twice. In the corner of the station was the creeper used to slide under trucks when repairing them. Dad would say, "Hold on," and he would spin me around until I was dizzy as a drunken sailor. It was better than any tilt-a-whirl ride I have ever been on. Next to the creeper was an old soda machine that had the classic Coca-Cola logo on it. It still dispensed the original green 10-ounce bottles, but they were now 35 cents compared with the 10 cents they were back then. A trip to the soda machine was always the highlight of the visit, with Dad to the station, my very own bottle of soda. When I was 10 years old, I took two of my friends by the station to show off my dad and see if we could weasel some sodas out of him. After showing them around the station, I asked Dad if we could each have a soda before we went home for lunch. I detected just the slightest hesitation in my father's voice that day, but he said sure and gave us each a dime. We raced to the soda machine to see if our bottle had a cap with the star on the inside. What a lucky day! My cap had a star. I was only 2 caps away from sending for my very own Davy Crockett hat. We all thanked my father and headed home for lunch and a summer afternoon of swimming. I came home early that day from the lake. And you have your 100 number 2 lit, etch a sketch, goldfish, and Reeboks. This is going to be 100 lit number 2 for 5 minutes. I don't get out much. Like most moms, I'm too busy doing mom stuff to take time for myself. It wasn't always like this. Before I had kids, I had a career. Though I spent more hours nurturing my professional image in those days, it still seemed there was time left over for me. I'd make time to rejuvenate at a spa or unwind on a day-long shopping spree. Relaxing was a crucial component to the corporate image I was polishing. Now, the only thing I polish is the furniture. Having swapped the corner office at work in order to write from the corner bedroom at home, I now consider a trip to the grocery store without the kids to be a getaway. The business lunches I enjoyed at fancy restaurants were so long ago that the navy blue business suit I'd worn to them has gone out of style. I've cashed in the career and all the perks that come with it. Oh, I'm not complaining. This is exactly where I want to be. So you can imagine the emotional tug of war I felt when my literary agent phoned to say that the publisher of my first book was sending me on an all expense paid publicity tour from coast to coast. At first, the whole idea of a business trip seemed almost scary to me. The last time I was away from home all night, I was giving birth. It's been a decade since I've gone anywhere without stuffing goldfish crackers and an etch a sketch into my bag for the ride. I'd have to step out of my comfortable role as mother and step into the role of what? Business person? Out of my Reeboks and into heels, out of the laundry room and into television studios. Can I pull that off? I wondered. Wouldn't they catch on and realize I'm just a mom? But then I pondered the benefits of the trip. I'd be flying alone, dining alone, and sleeping in luxury hotels alone. For an entire week, it would be just me. No school lunches to pack, no baseball practice, no 4 o'clock panic over what to make for dinner. I started to plan all the adult things I'd be able to do. I could visit each city's famous museums and stare as long as I wanted at each masterpiece without having to divert my eyes to keep tabs on my boys. I would browse through shops instead of racing through them, shouting, don't touch to my guys. And I would be dining instead of eating. It was beginning to sound better and better. Finally, after making sure the refrigerator was full and the hamper was empty, I was on my way. As the plane took off, it also took my breath away. I was, for the first time in 13 years, on my own, if only for a week. The curious thing about the trip was this. Instead of feeling like an adult, I actually felt and we'll get ready for your 80s, okay? So clear your memories, your 80s. Okay, so on your 80, number 1 lit, proper names, Janda and Ray. Janda and Ray. 80 lit number 1 for 5 minutes. But he actually pulls out the keys out of the ignition. So Detective Wolf sees him with the keys to the car in his hand and the same t-shirt that's in the video, and that he sees him get into the car with. He also testified that there was only one other person there, a person they identified as John Claudio that was released. Detective Wolf also testified that the team was in charge of that vehicle and that the defendant was not a part of the team, and that nobody other than the task force had permission to use that vehicle. Detective Wolf also testified regarding his opinion regarding the movement of the vehicle. Okay. As you recall, he testified about his training and experience and how he's been working this task force for over a year and a half now. He has lots of training and experience on patrol with auto theft, and it was his opinion that the defendant moved this vehicle only a short way from a public space, open out in the alley into that secluded, very difficult place to see. Parking spot indicated on this photograph, and also in the videotape that's marked Women in Blue. He testified to his opinion as to why something that would happen, why someone wouldn't take off down the alley. And his opinion was that it was moved a short distance to possibly strip the vehicle or to allow for a juvenile. And he testified typically it's in gang situations. A juvenile has to come and do the dirty work. Just plant that in the back of your mind for a second. Before I move on from the unlawful taking of the vehicle, I want to point out one other thing. Defense called a witness, David Perez, and he corroborates exactly what's on the video in terms of the defendant getting into the car, didn't have permission, and it was a stranger's car, and that he moved the car, whether there's an excuse or not, is not a legal defense. There is no defense. I didn't know, or I thought I had permission. There's just no defense to that. So the defendant's own witness gets up and testifies. Yes, the defendant got into a car that didn't belong to him, and he moved it without their consent. Okay. And he also confirmed that he knew about stolen cars. Okay. And so that was actually your 80 lit number 2. Number 2, okay? This is your number 1 now. So they're in opposite order. We have Janda Ray. On that last one, you had Detective Wolf, T-shirt, John, Claudio, Women in Blue, David Perez. So this is going to be your 80 lit number 2, but it's actually number 1 according to your proper names, okay? So proper names that come out, you have Janda and Ray. This is going to be 80 lit number 2 for 5 minutes. She knows that the rain usually doesn't begin until January, but this year the rain comes early. Buckets of water dumping down over the strip malls and cement of the inner city. For 2 weeks each year, the sky clouds over and it seems like it will never stop raining. Janda is a senior in high school, and her mom is out of town for a business meeting. Her mom works hard, and she has to be out of town for a 2-day meeting with some people that she doesn't yet know. They are from somewhere in the South, and they are interested in getting to know Janda's mom because she might be able to help them start up their own business. There is a lot of money to be made helping people who don't know what they want to do with their lives, apparently. There are entire week-long conventions devoted to the cause. People come from all over the country to sit around with a lot of other people who don't know what they want to do with their lives either. There are lots of things you can buy at these conventions. There are all kinds of networking tools to help you find a new job or figure out what you want to do next if you no longer have a job. There is no limit to the amount of money you can make if you know how to sell hope to those who feel hopeless. Janda's mom is really good at selling hope. In any case, Janda and her brother have the house to themselves for the next 2 days. Her mom calls to tell her that it's raining where she is also, and that things are going well. Janda is in the kitchen talking to her mom on the phone when the rain starts. As her mom talks, she's making sandwiches for her little brother to take to school. Her little brother Ray is 7. Janda has been taking care of him a lot lately so that her mom can travel when she needs to and can make money to cover the rent. Janda has been looking for a job, but the economy is so bad that she has only found work babysitting. As she packs up a lunch for Ray, her mom is talking about how she met a man at one of the okay, and that's it, you all. So type one up consistently just to make sure you're passing everything, and you all have a great day, okay?